limit of a function. If a function f of s, this is a function, has a limit L as s approaches to a, so we write this format. This is how to write limit. We say that limit of f as s tends to a is equal to L, where L is defined. If they say that L is defined, that means that L is not infinity. And what do they mean by infinity? Infinity there simply means that if you're having a number that is having over 0, if you're having a fraction that is having over 0, for example 2 over 0 is infinity, 10 over 0 is infinity. Now, but if you don't have it, that is, the limit is not infinite. So if the limit is infinity, then we say that the limit does not exist. That is what we say. We say that the limit does not exist. But we normally encounter problem. Most times when we find the limit, it will be equal to infinity. But in a real sense, it's not infinity after we have applied some tricks. Now let's consider example. If you want to evaluate this limit of s tends to 3, limit of s tends to 3, s squared plus 5. What this simply means about limit is that anywhere I see s, I'll put it as 3. So that means this one will become 3 squared, because s tends to 3 means I should put s to be 3. It should now be 3 squared plus 5, and that will become, we are going to have 3 squared plus 5, that is 14. Now look at this one. Normally if I put s is equal to 2 as usual here, so what I'm going to have will be 2 squared minus 2 into 2 over 2 minus 2. So 2 squared is 4. This will be 0 over 0. As I have 0 over 0, this will become infinity. So in that case, we will normally say that the limit does not exist. This is what I was saying the other time. Sometimes it appears that it does not exist, but in a real sense it exists after we apply some tricks. Now let me apply a certain trick. We will see that it will not give us this infinity. Now let's apply some trick. We will see that if I don't do it directly, s is common here. If I factorize, it will be s into s minus, so that s times s is s squared and s times 2 is 2s over s minus 2. From this place, we will now observe that this cancel this. What we are going to have left is limit of s tends to 2, then x. This is what we are going to have left. Then we can now put s to be, anywhere I see s, I'll put it as 2. So our answer is just 2. So you see that the value of this limit is 2. It's not infinity. But when we substitute directly, we got 0 over 0. So that means that anytime we want to treat limit, we must first try it. When we have 0 over 0, we have to do some trick, and that will lead us to, those tricks will lead us to what we call techniques of limit. The first technique is limit by factorization. So limit by factorization, we are all familiar with factorization, how to factorize an expression. But these ones are special factorization. When anytime you have s squared minus a squared is s minus, this is difference of two squares. So we should take note of this one and memorize them. S cubed minus a cubed, difference of two cubed. This is s minus a into, this is the factorization. They are common factorization which we must know and memorize. S cubed, we must take note of this. And other method of factorization that we have known before. We have known how to factorize using quadratic formula and other method of factorization. Now let's take example on this limit by factorization. We now use the formula to evaluate this limit. The first one, let's evaluate limit of s squared minus 4 over s minus 2. Now the top one here, this 4 can be written as 2 raised to power 2. So that means the limit of this will become s squared minus 2 squared over s minus 2. So when we apply the formula in this place, can you see, our a is 2, so it will now be s minus 2 into s plus 2, and that will give me, this one will become s minus 2 s plus 2, so that This will cancel this. Finally, I can now substitute s to be 2. Finally, our answer there will be 2 plus 2, which is 4. Now, there's something which you need to take note under limit. Before you apply any techniques, which we started now, the first one, limit by factorization, you must first substitute this thing directly. You know, if you substitute directly, to give you 2 square, which is 4 minus 4, 0. If you substitute here 2 to be, s to be 2, to be 2 minus 2, which is 0, our answer will now be 0 over 0. So when you have 0 over 0, that is only when you can apply any method like this factorization that I apply. But assuming that when I substitute directly, I don't get 0 over 0, then I will leave my answer. Whatever I get there is my answer. Just like what I have here. When I substituted directly, I didn't get 0 over 0. I got an answer which is not over 0. So in that case, I can say that I can apply factorization. So I will use the same thing for this. 27 will become s cube, and we are going to have the following. So the 27 will give me s raised to power 3 raised to power 3. I'm solving this one. So it will give me 3 raised to power 3. This one will give me 3 raised to power 2. Which at the end of the day, I'm going to apply these two. S cube minus a cube, s squared minus a squared. I'm going to apply this formula. Applying the formula, we are going to have what we have here. So in that case, s minus 3 cancels s minus 3 here. So I can now substitute s to be anywhere I see s, I can now put it as 3. So that I can get, if I put s to be 3, it will be 3 squared into 3, which is this, divided by, I put s to be 3. And that will give me 9 over 2, is the value of the limit. If I substituted this directly, and I got 0 over 0, that is when I can apply all these formulas. If you substitute directly, s cube, this will be s cube minus 3, 3 cube minus 3, that is 0. 3 square minus 3 square, that is another 0. And that is the reason why I can apply factorization. So the final one there, we need to apply the method of factorization for this one, which we have known before. And doing that, we are going to have, so this one will give me, if I factorize this numerator, I'm going to have s plus 2, s plus 3. So you don't need to ask me how I got that. You should be able to know this. This is elementary factorization. So from this place, s plus 2 is common, so we cancel. But I told you before you can apply all this factorization, first substitute s to be minus 2 there. Verify whether you are going to get 0 over 0. If you get 0 over 0, then you can apply it. So s cancel, s plus 2 cancel s plus 2. What we have left is s plus 3. And if you put s to be minus 2, we have minus 2 plus 3. This is 1. And another important one under this limit. If I want to evaluate this limit, let me substitute directly. What do you think we are going to have? You know, we are going to put s to be 3. We are going to have 3 squared plus 4 over 2 into 3 minus 6. And that will give me 9 plus 4. That is 13 over 6. This one is 6 minus 6. That is 0. Anything over 0 is infinity. Since you are getting a number divided by 0, it gives me infinity. So in that case, I can say that, I can conclude that therefore the limit does not exist. But assuming I get 0 over 0, that means I can apply a technique. So but now that I don't have 0 over 0, then I cannot have any formula. I have to conclude directly. I'm having something over 0. So I can conclude that the limit does not exist. So let's move to another technique. I want to evaluate the limit of the following function. Limit of this, s tends to 2. Anytime, okay, the second one is limit by rationalization. That's the second technique. Limit by rationalization. When do we normally apply limit by rationalization? That is when you have square root inside a limit. Anytime you have square root inside a limit, we can apply limit by rationalization. And how do we rationalize? The way you normally rationalize in SOD, that is, you multiply both numerator and denominator by the conjugate of this square root, and the answer will be limit of s tends to 2 root s minus root 2 over s minus 2. We rationalize, that is, multiply both sides by the conjugate. You know, conjugate is this over root s minus 2 plus 2. Now we have rationalized this. So anytime you have rationalized, you don't need to expand this one that you are not rationalizing. This one that you are rationalizing, you expand it, so that at the end of the day, we are going to have expand it to be root of s times root of s, that is ordinary x, minus root of 2 times plus root of 2, that is ordinary 2. I don't need to expand this. So you now see that s minus 2 is common. From that place, I can cancel it out, so that at the end of the day, I will have limit of s tends to 2, it will remain 1 there, over root of s plus root of 2. I can now substitute s to be 2. Anywhere I see s, I can now put it as 2, so that this will become 1 over root 2 plus 1 over root 2. And 1 over root 2 plus 1 over root 2 will give me, it will give me 1 over root 2 plus root 2. And that will give me 1 over 2 root 2. So that is our final answer. So the value of this limit is 1 over 2 root 2. So we'll consider another example. Another one, limit of s tends to 3 and this. So far we have square root there, I can apply rationalization method. So I'll multiply both sides by the conjugate of this. So, and that is square root of x plus square root of 3. So that will give me this. So I've rationalized this function, multiply both sides by conjugate of denominator. Now I don't need to expand these two. I'll just write them together. That is why we have s squared minus 9 times root of s plus root of 3. But this one, I will expand it. Root of s times root of s, that is ordinary x. Root of 3 times root of 3, that is ordinary 3. Then minus times plus, this is a minus between them. But s squared minus 9, we have treated something before. That will be s squared. Our 9 is 3 squared. If you apply the formula that I gave you, this will be s minus 3, s plus 3. And that is how we got this. S squared minus 9 has become this. So this is still our root of s plus root of 3. From this place, this will cancel each other. What we have left is s plus 3 plus this. So anywhere I see s now, I'll put 3. So this is 3 plus 3 into root 3 plus root 3. 3 plus 3 will be 6. Root 3 plus root 3, that will be 2 root 3. Finally, our answer there is 6 times 2, 12. This will be 12 root 3. So that is the final answer to this question. And that is that about limit by rationalization. So we now move to another one. One is limit to infinity, which is the third one. Evaluate the following limit. The first one, this is infinity. Limit to, that is, anywhere you see s, put it as infinity. Of course, when we substitute directly, then the whole thing will be infinity. But how do you deal with limit to infinity? Anytime we are giving limit s tends to infinity of a certain function, we look for the highest powered variable in that function. This expression, the highest powered variable is just s raised to power 1. So you divide both sides by that x. Anywhere you see any expression, divide both sides by the x. So, and that will give me, so I've divided both sides by s now. It will give me this. And if I simplify further, s cancels x, I have this. Now, we are left to simplify this as s tends to infinity. We should take note of something. I said n divided by infinity is n divided by 0, is infinity. That is, n is any number. Any number dividing 0 will give me infinity. Then if I cross multiply, if I swap If I bring this one here, then n divided by infinity will give me 0. That means anything divided by infinity will give me 0. In that case, the answer to this will now become s tends to infinity. Okay, we don't need it again. It will be 2 plus, that will be 2 plus 3 over infinity divided by 1 minus 9 over infinity. And that will be 2 plus, this is 0 over 1 minus 0. And that is 2 over 1. So what we are now saying here is that the limit to this thing is 2. So anywhere we have to find limit to infinity, just take note that n over infinity is 0. A over infinity is 0 if 0 is less than a is less than 1. This one, if they say that 0 is less than 1, it simply means that 0 is a proper fraction. That is the meaning of this thing. This sign simply means 0 is a proper, and you know proper fraction when numerator is less than the denominator. Also, a raised to power infinity is infinity. That is if a is greater than 1. Now let's take the following example. If you look at this is another question. Limit of s tends to infinity. So the highest powered variable in this question in both numerator and denominator is I squared. So you have to look out for the highest powered variable. That is s squared. So you divide both sides by that highest powered variable. And that will give me this. So I've divided both sides by s squared and I got this. So in that case, if you simplify further, s squared will cancel s squared and we are going to have this. From this place, I can now substitute s to be infinity. So anywhere I see s, I'll put it as infinity so that this one will become 2 minus 4 over infinity plus 3 over 4 over infinity square over 5 over infinity square plus 2 over infinity minus 6. But what we have said is that anything that is dividing infinity is 0. So anything here dividing infinity is 0. So what we are going to have left is just 2 over this minus 6. And that is minus 1 over 3. So minus 1 over 3 is the value of this limit. Now let's consider another example for the limit. We want to find this limit. This is another example. We want to evaluate this limit. So as usual, here now we don't have, we are giving numbers here as the base and variable as power. When we have this, we divide both sides by highest number, which is 5. 5 raised to power n. Or this one can quickly be written as limit of n tends to infinity. If you apply indices, we have 5 raised to power n dot 5 minus 3 raised to power n divided by 5 raised to power n dot 5 raised to power minus 2 plus 4 raised to power n. So we divide both sides. 5 out of all these numbers raising to power n, 5 raised to power n is higher. So we divide both sides by 5 raised to power n. So that at the end of the day, we are going to have n tends to infinity. If you divide this one by 5 raised to power n, we have 5 there left. This one will leave. Minus, this one will become 3 over 5 raised to power n. This one too will leave. It will remain 5 raised to power minus 2. This will be 4 over 5 raised to power n because we are dividing both sides by 5 raised to power n. As we have said before, that anything raised to power infinity is 0 if the number is proper fraction. You can see this is proper fraction. Proper fraction. So in that case, this one will, as n tends to infinity, what we are going to have left is 5 minus 0. It will be 0 because this is proper fraction raised to power infinity over 5 minus 2 plus 0. What I'm going to have left is 5 divided by 5 raised to power minus 2. And that will give me 5 times 5 raised to power 2. And that will become, you know that this one is 1 over 5 square. So if I turn this times to this division to times, this will come up. So this will become 5 raised to power 3. And that is 125. So that means the value of this limit is 125. So let's move to properties of limit. These are the properties of limit of a function. Limit of a constant is constant. You can study it. There are formulas and properties of limit of a function. The next one is limit of trigonometric functions. We should take note of this. The basic trigonometry limits are limit of sine k over k. We should always know that is equal to 1. Limit of cos k over k. So that will give me infinity, or we can say that does not exist. Also, limit of tan k over k is 1. And all this, you can study. There are formulas which we must know. So in that case, let's take the following examples of on limit. But take note of this. Sine k over k is 1 as k tends to 0. Study it very well. As k tends to 0. Also, as k tends to 0, tan k over k is 1. And vice versa. That is, if you have k over sine k, it's still 1. If you have k over tan k, it's still 1 as k tends to 0. But here, if you have k over k, that one is 0. So let's take the following example. The following formulas of trigonometric functions are very useful when we are dealing with limit of trigonometric functions. Can you see? These are the formulas we can use dealing with limit of trigonometric functions. Now let's take an example. We are asked to find the limit of 5x over sin s. Assuming this thing is 3x and we have 3s as s tends to 0, my answer would have been 1. Just like the formula that I gave you here. Just like this formula here. But unfortunately, what we have here is 5. But we can manipulate. We can write it like this. So I've separated 5 from that s. But I need 3s so that I can turn the whole thing to 1. I need 3s in this place. But what I have here is s. So what I will do is that I'll put 3 there. If I put 3 there, I'll put 3 here too. So that I will have limit of s tends to 0. I will get 5 over 3. I'll put 3s there and I'll put 3s here. So that if I cancel this, it will still be what is here. So this one now, the whole of this is 1. So that my answer is just 5 over 3 times that 1. So the limit is 5 over 3. As simple as ABC. So we are going to have this as our limit. So in that case, you see that this is our tan s, this is our sine 2s here. You observe that sine cancels sine. What we are going to have left is limit of s tends to pi 1 over 2 cos square x. I cannot put s to be pi. Our answer will now be 1 over 2 cos square pi. Anywhere I see pi in radian, it simply means 180 degrees, not 22 over 7. Now, pi in degree is 180 degrees. So in this case, cos pi, if you press your calculator, is -1. And I have square here, it will just be 1. So cos square pi is 1. So our answer is 1 over 2 into -1 square, because cos pi is -1. And we have square there. Finally, our answer is 1 over 2. So that means 1 over 2 is the value of this limit. Let's consider this. This is another example. The first thing is, I want to find this limit divided by 0. Limits to 0 divided by this. I'll divide both sides by x first. If I divide both sides by s, I'm going to have limit of s tends to 0. You know, this, nothing will be here again because I'm dividing both sides by s. Let me put it there. Divide both sides by s. Both sides is numerator and denominator. minus this one will now become sine 2s over x divided by 7 plus sine 2s over x. So from that place, I can now apply my limit. Because we are giving s tends to 0, if you have sine 2s here, it is 2 that we must have here too. But if I have 2 here, it will have been 1. The whole thing will have been 1, and this one too. But what we'll have is ordinary s. It's not 2. What you are going to do is you just need to put 2 here. If you put 2 here, you put 2 here too. If you put 2 here, you put, so that 2 cancel 2 will still be the same thing as what you are writing. And that will give me 4 minus sine 2s. You know it is over x. If you decide to put 2 here, so that you can have the same thing, you must put 2 here too. Divided by 7 plus this one too, sine 2s over s. Because we need 2 here, I have to put 2. Then I have to put 2 here too. So that the whole of this will be 1. The whole of this will be 1. Finally, our answer is 4 minus 2 into 1. The whole of this is 1. We do that as s tends to 0 alone. Anytime we are giving s tends to 0. Divided by 7 plus 2 into 1. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 7 plus 2 is 9. So 2 over 9 is the value of this limit here. Another example here which you can practice. This is another example. Study it and practice it. It's an assignment for you. You use the method I've been using. You can see sine 2s is 2 sine s cos s. Sine 2s is 2 sine s cos s. You now see that cos s is common. That is why they factorize it. Here it says as s tends to pi over 2. What is pi over 2? Pi over 2 is 90 degree. Pi is 180 divided by 2. That is 90 in degree. From this place, cos will cancel cos. It will remain this left. And at the end of the day, I'm going to have this as my answer. So you can see another example on that rig, which you must practice. Pause, study it. So that is that about that. This is the textbook I'm using, Essential Calculus. This is my name here, Amusa IS, Essential Calculus. When you are interested, when we resume, you get your own copy. Okay, good day.